Hello there, and welcome to the Eswn Direct, the best and only place to get news from Eswn Plays Everything, everyone's favorite content creator. Here we're going to be joined by our special guest, Eswn Plays Everything himself. Eswn Plays Everything on YouTube. And Eswn Draws on Twitch, but that's beside the point. Welcome to the Eswn Direct, and if you're wondering, yes, this is a ripoff of the Nintendo Direct idea. I just thought it'd be really funny and nice to do my end-of-year announcements in this style. So I have quite a few announcements for my plans for 2025, so here we go. Here's the first one. 2025 is going to be the year of RPGs. One of my favorite game genres is RPGs, so I'm going to do the little slogan of 2025 being the year of RPGs. Games such as Final Fantasy XVI, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Final Fantasy IX, and other non-Final Fantasy RPGs titles are going to be one of the mainstay focuses of the channel. Obviously, this means I'm going to do other non-RPG games. These are just going to be the highlight videos of the year that you guys are not going to want to miss. You guys really want to watch those videos in particular. And by the way, speaking of videos for 2025, I'm going to give a bit of a spoiler here. The first video I plan on doing for 2025 is on a new indie game called Anton Blast. Why I am playing this game and not any of the other RPG titles I said, because I want to, and I think the game looks really cool, and I think it's a perfect way to start out the year. I will have a video of one of those, of an RPG, up by February, is the plan. Anyway, that's far from the end of the announcements. Here's a little bit of a fun fact trivia. I actually have a Patreon, and I set it up a while ago, but I figured it's about time I actually add some real content to it. So here's an announcement concerning some of the updates and planned added content I plan on changing on my Patreon. Here's some Patreon monetization news updates from Eswn Plays Everything. Patreon is one of the leading platforms that content creators and, well, a lot of other people use to gain money and give exclusive benefits to people who are willing to pay for their works. Whether that be paying to see their artwork or early versions of their artwork or otherwise. Some of the benefits I've decided to add to my Patreon include full uncut Twitch Talks in packs of 10. And if you're wondering what Twitch Talks are, allow me to explain really quick. So for every stream, instead of playing stream music, I have a little bit of a rant I call the Twitch Talks, and this birthed because Twitch copyrighted me because I was using copyright-free music. So I decided to say, well, they can't copyright my voice, so I'm going to use, well, my voice. And there you go. That's how the Twitch Talks was born. But other benefits include monthly uploads of 3 to 7 minute long videos. These videos are just going to kind of be random and sporadic, whatever I want. They're not going to have as much editing effort put into them as the regular videos that I'm going to do, but it's just a nice little bit of extra content if you're really dedicated. And finally, a new Discord server I'm going to be making where I'm going to reveal stream and video plans like 2 or 3 months ahead of when they actually happen, and where people can interact directly with me without having to be restricted by the fact that you can't type on my announcement server. And the reason I'm doing this is mostly because people keep pestering me on Discord for art commissions, but that's a whole different topic that's going to be addressed another day. But just know you can communicate with me directly there and also suggest videos. Obviously, the main question is, how much is this going to cost? Well, I set the cost at $1.30, and I do not ever plan on changing this. The idea I have behind it is, hey, if I get 150,000 subscribers and 15,000 of them sub to the Patreon, then boom, that's $15,000 a month, and I get enough money to do what I need to do. But I will also have a special $3 exclusive Patreon tier, which, by the way, is the entry point for most people's Patreon, is going to be the exclusive tier, where I'm going to have some special benefits that I'm going to be announcing later in the Direct when they're relevant for their announcements. In 2025, I right now currently have 3 channels. The main Eswn Plays Everything, which you're seeing this video on, my podcast, Chasing Thoughts with Chase, and Eswn Deluxe, which is a channel I have not touched in 6 months, and I am proud to announce the rework of this channel, so stay tuned for that.
Why have a deluxe channel when you can have a party channel?
When I started taking YouTube seriously back in 2022, I made 3 channels. I have the main Eswn Plays Everything channel, Eswn Rants, which turned into the Generated Podcast, which then turned into Chasing Thoughts with Chase, and Eswn Deluxe. Even though I got the second channel up and going and taking off, I never really could figure out what to do with the third channel, Eswn Deluxe. I just kind of felt confused about it. So I decided to restructure the channel entirely. Introducing Eswn Party.
Hey, quick editor's note. So I know the profile picture looks terrible. I'll make a new one in 2025. Okay? Okay, bye.
Most of the content on my main channel is going to be single player experiences, where my more calm and casual demeanor in video games is just shown. But on the Eswn Parties channel, we're going to fully embrace the multiplayer chaos and have lots of fun with other people on the channel, including viewers and friends, other content creators, you name it. It's going to be all about people interacting with each other rather than just one person talking to a screen, which I know is a problem I have with a lot of my other stuff, but I'm going to get into that a bit later. Now, in terms of what games I'm going to play on the channel, it's probably going to be mostly Mario Party and other party-like games, but I'm also going to consider some other multiplayer games. And hey, if you guys really want to, I might even play some co-op games with some friends and family and whatnot. This is also the point in my script where I reveal the first of the 2 new benefits for the $3 Patreon tier, which is uncut footage of all the recording sessions I have that I turn into videos. Basically, I'm going to do a lot of heavy editing with the Eswn Parties channel, much like my main channel. So if you guys are really interested in seeing absolutely everything, including everything uncensored, because I'm probably going to censor all the swear words, then you can come over to if you're interested in seeing everything that happened, then you can pay for the $3 tier, and every time I release a new video, I will also release the full uncut footage on Patreon. The first video for Eswn Parties will drop at the end of January, and then every 2 to 4 weeks after that, I plan on releasing another video. And actually, while talking about channels, there's another channel I have that has taken off with a surprising amount of success that I wish to talk about on this video.
What? Guests on a podcast? That's unheard of.
First off, I want to say a personal message of thanks to everyone who has supported the podcast thus far. If you guys realize, I'm basically in the same fit that I use for the podcast, so yeah, little fun detail, but whatever. I've taken note of what people have personally, told me about the podcast, and I've decided to make some changes to the podcast to adjust accordingly. First off, I'm going to change the location of which I'm going to record the podcast. Instead of being in the stuffy office, I'm gonna find some way to find a more casual area to do it. The most likely solution is that I will actually clean up my room and turn the bottom part of my bunk bed into like my little podcast area where I'll record the podcast episodes. And I think the idea of cleaning my room will make my mom very happy about this particular part of the announcement. But more importantly, guest episodes, baby. Let's go. I've actually been really excited about doing podcast episodes with guests, and I've had a lot of people say that they're very interested in showing up on a podcast episode. So I am definitely going to do that. How that's going to be done and how often that's going to be done is going to be a bit iffy. But I do want to make every other to every third episode a guest episode where I have one or more people on with me to talk about a subject that we all just come together to agree on. And then the rest of the solo episodes are probably going to be more of review and analysis things, as well, review, analysis, and trivia, basically. And I'm also just gonna say this. I've made this affirmation before. I'm going to make it again. I'm going to make it 100 times more because I feel it's absolutely necessary everyone understands that Chase and Thoughts with Chase is not a political podcast. I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I also want to keep saying it so that when the day comes people start questioning it, I've already well established that this is not a political podcast. Does that not mean we're not willing to discuss certain topics that may or may not be political in nature? Of course we are. But it also means we're going to take a different stance than everyone else when it comes to talking about these subjects and actually being civil and respectful to everyone while doing so. If I feel animosity or disrespect coming up in my voice, I will be willing to calm myself down and redo the podcast episode until I feel like I can get to the point where I can deliver my point while remaining respectful of the opposing side. And also, solo episodes are going to be more whimsy from now on. Kind of more energetic and fun-loving rather than deep and thought-provoking like some of the guest episodes are going to be. So I'm going to change the vibe accordingly to match that attitude. I plan on having everything recorded the month before, so that way, even if I do have to take a week or two off because I'm tired or unwell, you'll still get an episode every Friday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time.
Hi there, everyone. Quick transparency plus postscript announcement. I was supposed to make one more announcement in the direct, but I've chosen to delay this announcement for a couple of reasons, mostly because I feel like it deserves its own video and it doesn't deserve to be crammed into some stupidly, horribly made version ripoff of Nintendo Direct. And also, I need more time to really prepare the grandeur of this announcement. So, I'll be announcing this sometime between January and February. Don't worry, I will announce it, and it will contain the other Patreon benefit I haven't talked about in the video yet. So, yeah, stay tuned for that.
I just want to thank everyone for watching the 2024, or rather 2025, Eswn Direct. I'm going to probably make another one of these at the end of 2025 so I can announce my plans for 2026 and so on and so forth. I plan on making this a tradition. And trust me, as I get better at video editing, the Eswn Directs are going to increase in quality accordingly. But I know you all have one question burning on your lingering minds. What is in the briefcase that I had at the beginning of the brought in at the beginning of the video? Well, I'll show you. Ooh, I got you. I told you I was gonna save the best for last. But no, in all seriousness though, that is my temple bag and it has my temple clothes in it. I'm not about to show my temple clothes to everyone on camera because it's actually something that's really sacred to me. Thank you everyone for listening in to this Eswn Direct, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.